I don't know why I didn't do these sooner. I rode all winter with cold hands. So I ended up choosing the, I don't know, Koso, the Apollo heated grips. I went with these guys because they have a little thumb control here. There's no little dashboard to control them. I don't really have anywhere nice to hide that on my bike on the Indian Scout. So, I mean, obviously the Oxford grips seems to be the most popular out there. Industry leader perhaps, but we're gonna give these guys a go. They had some decent reviews, so I think I paid about 150 bucks Canadian. Pretty decent, I think, for heated grips. So we'll go ahead and open these guys up. Have a little gander. So they do come with bar ends. I'm not using them because obviously the Indian Scout has bar end mirrors. Some glue, some instructions, and then you've got a left side and right side, so it goes on your throttle tube. And then looks like all the necessary hardware. So all in all, it looks pretty decent. Let's go ahead and open these up and have a gander. It's got some nice hardware here to separate them, make install a little bit easier. The left side of the bike's got the control panel built into it, and then the other side, the throttle side, I took my throttle off. I think we're going to be okay. It looks like maybe just a hair longer, maybe a 16th, maybe an 1/8, but the bar diameter is pretty decent. It's not too much more than the stock Scout. Let's have a look here. Unfortunately, the batteries on my calipers or my micrometers are out, so we'll just kind of measure this the old-fashioned way. So the stock Indian grip is about 1 7/8, and the Apollo grip is slightly smaller, actually. At just a 1 13/16, so not much. They're pretty much identical, and I mean the left side is the exact same width. So that's cool. Won't really notice a grip diameter difference, but we're gonna go ahead and read the directions and then maybe start installing these guys. So like I said, I've already removed the throttle tube. I just was checking it out, and checking the side here. So you see it is slightly longer, but it's opened up pretty good in here, and that should be able to accept the bar and mirror. Shouldn't be a huge issue. And then all the wiring, I think I can make all the connections up inside the room. There's room back here. We'll coil it up, hide it out of the way. Maybe we'll follow this, come up and under. So I think it should be a pretty clean install. So we're going to go ahead and cut these off. So there you go. Kind of glued on. So we'll make sure we take all that glue off. So I went ahead and knocked down all the raised crazy glue edges and then sanded it just to get rid of it. Just use a little bit of cleaner here to get rid of all the crud from sanding. So the glue sticks, and that's pretty much set. We can probably test fit the grip. So the clutch grip came off, no problem. A little bit of glue. Now the throttle tube grip, not so much. What a pain in the ass. So I've ground most of it down now. You can see there's these little ridges all the way. Pretty sure that rubber was cast onto this because it went all around this hard sleeve in there. So there's no way that one slipped on. I think this was a one solid piece. I don't know. I even cut through there by accident. I'm wondering if you can buy just a throttle tube from Indian, but I doubt it. I tried to look it up, and they seem to be one piece with the grip. So anyways, we're going to keep cleaning this up, sanding it smooth, and that should slip into the heated grip. And this is what grabs the throttle-by-wire sensor. So we'll keep sanding that down, getting it smooth. See, there's a couple ridges still. I've just been using the backside of my knife and just scraping back and forth using on the blade. That seems to be working pretty good. So a couple more minutes and we should be in good shape. Just temporarily put this in here. You can see where this cast plastic piece is. That's where the rubber kind of went on there, through there, and over as one cast piece with the rubber. So I think I'm going to remove this, and that way that grip can butt right up to this this housing. So we'll remove that piece as well. You can see here, we'll take that cast piece all the way off and go right up to that throttle tube where it grabs the throttle-by-wire sensor. This is what we ended up with. Ended up cutting that ridge off. That was out here. Sanded all these down. I'm still getting there. And using a file. That took over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. That is by far the biggest pain in the butt in this whole install. But it should slide on nicely now. That guy will go in. So we'll probably use a little bit of glue just on this side in here. That way when I push it in, all the way in, there'll be no buildup of rim around here that will get stuck to that control module. So we'll put some in there. That'll spread it in here. Don't need much. And that should seat it pretty darn close. Then we can put our bar and mirrors back in. So let's go ahead and fit this back on the bike, and we'll line this up. Make sure this cable doesn't bind on anything. I just slipped the grip on, just a dry fit, to check how I want this cable to have slack. And I think we'll pin it right there. That will provide enough room. Doesn't interfere with the brake lever at all. Put that down a bit. I think that's the best spot for it. Nice and flush for the bar and mirrors. So we'll go ahead and mount this one, and we'll be able to take the wiring, bring it down here inside, keep it zip tied here. Should look factory, and we'll make all connections inside the headlight cover. But I think that'll go well. So we'll slip this off, put a mark here with some pencil, or not pencil, some chalk, so I know exactly where I want it. And we'll put a little bit of glue and should be almost done. So I made a little pencil mark as to where I want that one to line up. So go ahead, add a little bit of glue. Twist that into place. go. There you go. Okay, so I started to film this going on, and I stopped because it was a bear. So it took all I had, two-handed grip, twisting to get it on. I ended up lining up my buttons with my turn signal, and I had red. Somebody said don't do that because you accidentally hit your turn signal, but I find that quite comfortable. Seating position, I can see it. This kind of lines up. This little groove here to there kind of looks like a factory install, maybe. I don't know. And my cords will button up nice there. I'm just going to go ahead and fit this bar and mirror. Don't get too carried away here. There we go. Grips are in. We're now going to start wiring. So I'm going to remove the tank so I can feed my wires properly to the battery, and remove the headlight nacelle so I can feed all my wires into here. There's just 6 bolts, 3 on each side. Just like that. Set those aside. So that gains me access to here. Take this little fancy pouch off, and I got some, so I can do all my connections, feed them up to here. It should look pretty good. I'll tank off first. Now I have gone over tank removal in my intake build. Basically, remove the seats. There are 4 tank bolts right there, and then I believe on the other side there is a fuel connection and the fuel pump. You just connect those and that whole thing slips off, so we'll do that now. So we'll go ahead and take a 13 mil, we'll blast these 4 bolts off. Bolts, 13 mil. Fuel line right here. There's these 2 little green tabs. Just depress them, pull. Just get a little cloth there to catch your drips, and then underneath there's just a wire that you want to unplug, and that whole tank comes off. Now I'm almost certain you don't need to do this step, but I want to be able to run my cables from there inside the frame here all to my battery. You know, like I probably could have zip tied it to existing stuff, but I'm here. It's a long weekend. Let's just do it properly and be done with it. So I opted to take my tank off. I'm sure you don't have to, but I did. You're gonna have to confirm this with your own research. However, on the 2018 bobber, it looks like you've got an unused source here. You'd have to test that to see if that's ignition switched, but I bet you it is. Maybe we will test it for you. But there's that one at the front. I think I'm going to leave this one, so I could have wired the grips to here, not taking the tank off. But I'm going to change out this headlight. I kind of want to leave this as an option. Don't know why, just cause I do. And then on the back side, on the wiring harness, there is this little brown pink wire, and I've heard that is ignition sourced 12 volt. So it was taped up kind of under here under my seat. So we'll grab the multimeter and just give that a test right now. Okay, so we're going to test this. I got my power in there. You have to bear with me while I do this one-handed. So right now, ground it out. It is dead. Turn the key on. ground it out. We've got 12 volts. So that is a keyed ignition source. I had to do this one-handed here, but you can see that that is also a 12 volt ignition source. I'm going to turn the key off. And it is also off. So on a 2018 Indian Scout Bobber, and maybe other bikes, you'll have to figure that one out yourself. You do have a 12 volt keyed ignition source at the headlight bucket, and you have one here. I'm going to use this one for my heated grips. Don't know why, just because. And then I'll leave that one for if I do LED headlight. At least it's not taken. I can use it for something else. Maybe I can do a USB charger or secondary one if I get one off my battery tender, but I can leave that one open for now. On the bike side, there's already a female connector. We'll use a male spade, and we'll go ahead and crimp this guy in. There we go. That's a heat shrink connector, so we will heat it up. There we go. Nice, strong, tight connection. So we'll go ahead. That'll go to the battery negative. That'll go to the keyed positive. And we'll do a quick test run on it before we do a full install. Go on ahead, just temporarily hook this up. I'm going to run my wires through here. Cable tie off to everything. And I just did a real quick hookup just to test them. So, no power. And we turn the key on. You get a white light, goes out. And then you get high, you get low, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't know if you guys can hear that, but you can actually hear the grip. It's actually buzzing. I don't know if it's a good thing, bad thing. I mean, I'm never gonna hear it. This bike's so friggin' loud, but they're already starting to warm up. So I'm going to call that a success. Doesn't interfere with the third signal button. Press and hold, turns it off. Lots of room there. So able to follow the factory wiring. Came underneath the handlebar, like the rest of the wires, factory wiring, into here. Same with this one here. Followed the factory wiring. Came underneath the handlebar. This will sit in behind the headlight nacelle. So we'll go ahead and bolt these back up. And that one's done. Followed the factory wiring here. Cable clamped it all the way in here. Made my connection. And we are done. Bike is back together. Headlights back on. And everything works the way it's supposed to. Off. A little dark out right now, but tomorrow we'll give these bad boys a test. Thanks for watching.